I think this vision of the future is quite an interesting one when you look at retrofitting. And the key question, one of the key questions here is perhaps, what do we want our urban areas to be like in the future? And the danger here, when you look to the future, is we're always constrained about with our experiences of the present. So let me give you an example, a scenario example, which I've been using to stimulate new ideas as part of a project which I've been engaged with for Thames Water, which is looking at what will the drainage of London look like in 2100. Quite an interesting question. And of course, SUDS and retrofit of SUDS comes into the part of the considerations of that. And the scenario I posed is, what is the impact of the driverless car on this? And you might wonder, what the hell has that got to do with drainage? But I wanted to just use this as an illustration as to why taking a holistic view about urban areas is so important. If we look at the concept of a driverless car coupled with the Uber business model, for example, it's quite possible that in the not unimaginable future, we all might not own cars. Especially in London, why would we if we could just conjure up a car when we needed one, which would take us to where we wanted to go, and then we could just leave it? So much more convenient. Why would we have cars sitting outside our residences for 80% of the time, not going anywhere and just depreciating? Crazy. Wouldn't do that. What would that do to the urban roads in London? It would free them of cars. Suddenly, instead of having our streets with two lines of cars permanently parked nose to tail along them, and I've spent last night in Clapham, so I know exactly what this looks like, and many of you are nodding right. If we took that away, and then we re-engineered the street to make a better community, what would that look like? What part would water and drainage play in that? What part would vegetation play in that? And greening up the area and making communal facilities. It's really exciting when you start to look at that. But for sure, we probably wouldn't drain that area in the way that we do today. And I think that's all the things we've talked about today are just steps in the enabling process to get to that brave new world. It might not look like that, I don't know. We'd have to, for sure, deal with all the risks around, which was in our earlier question there about how do we get people to change their mindset and do things. All of that would have to be done as part of that process. But we're paving the way for that. That's what all the current debate is about. It's paving our way for that brave new world where things will look quite different.